Bibliophiles of the internet, my name is Adriana, and today I'm here to bring you my February wrap-up. Before I get to the actual wrap-up portion of this video, I just want to thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, especially if you have subscribed in like the past week. It's been insane. These past 48 hours alone, I've gained like 30 subscribers, which is simultaneously terrifying and stupendous and amazing and flattering. So thank you guys so much, and a huge thank you to 1,000 Lives of Daisy. I hope I got your username right. She gave me a shout out in one of her booktuber shout out videos, which was so sweet and so flattering, and just thank you guys so much. This community just continues to amaze me. I read 10 things this month, so I should just shut up and let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns. I lied. Before we get into the book, I just want to say something about rating, and that's just I don't usually give books 5 out of 5 stars. Like, I will admit it, I'm very stingy with the 5 out of 5 stars, but for some reason a lot of books this month are 5 out of 5 stars. I think that's just because I had an amazing reading month. So let's get into the books now. First thing I read I don't want to talk too much about because it's something that I read for school, and that is Barn Burning by William Faulkner. I don't usually include things that I read for school because I'm an English major. I read a lot of things for school, but I really love this story by William Faulkner so much that I have been poring over it all month because I decided to write a paper about it. So I have to say Barn Burning, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. You know, William Faulkner, he knows what he's doing, you know. The second book I reread for one of my classes, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This is a classic dystopian novel, and the main character's name is Offred, and she lives in a society called the Republic of Gilead, and this society is set like in the somewhat near future, and this society is very highly patriarchal. Offred's job, she is a handmaiden, as you can tell from this title, and her job is to serve this man called the commander and literally to have his baby. Margaret Atwood's writing is amazing. Her prose is astounding. Her diction is just impeccable. The way she chooses words and where she places them makes a very lasting impact. Everything is right about this book. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars upon this reread. The next thing that I read was sort of like a novella, I'm sure you guys heard of it, and that is Quidditch Through the Ages by J.K. Rowling, or Kenilworthy Wisp as it says here. I read this book in solidarity with the booktubers who are doing a Year-A-Thon. Basically, it's a group of booktubers, and for the first week of every month, they read a series, like a well-known series, and so February they were reading Harry Potter. I was not going to reread any of the Harry Potter books because with me, it's all or nothing. If I start reading A Sorcerer's Stone, I will not stop until I finish Deathly Hallows. That's just how I am. Do I have to say anything about it? It was perfect. It was hilarious. Even though Quidditch is a fictional sport, I feel like I know so much more about it now. 5 out of 5 stars. Next book I reread for the Sarah Dessen book club, and that is Dreamland by Sarah Dessen. This is a contemporary YA novel. It's about a character named Caitlin. She meets a guy named Rogerson, and she instantly falls for him. What she doesn't realize is that Rogerson is a very bad person. Like, besides being a drug dealer and just an overall jerk, he's also prone to abuse. I found myself connecting and relating to a lot of things that happened to Caitlin, or a lot of things that she felt, like been there, done that, worn that t-shirt. I empathized with her so much, and it was a very powerful story. Hard to read, but just very powerful, and I thought it was handled very well. That being said, I did give Dreamland by Sarah Dessen 3.5 out of 5 stars, and that's only because of Sarah Dessen's writing, because she likes to use like the same 5 conventions over and over and over again in all of her books, and I grow tired of that. On Valentine's Day, I read My Lap Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. It tells the story of a girl named Samantha. She is forbidden from speaking to the Garretts next door. The Garretts are a huge family. They have 8 children, if you can imagine the chaos. And so Samantha does end up meeting one of the Garrett sons, Jace, and they begin a romance, and that is what happens. I gotta say, I had really mixed feelings about this one, and it was very sad because I loved the romance. It made me smile, it made me laugh, it made me kick my feet and make weird noises, but I hated the ending of this book. I hated the ending of this book. The worst part about the ending was that it sort of opened my eyes to a lot of negative aspects of the writing, and then, you know, cannot unsee. So I ended up giving this story 2.5 out of 5 stars, which I think nicely sums up how I felt about the story. Half good, half bad. Overall, meh. After that, I continued on with Just One Day by Gail Forman, and this is also a contemporary YA romance. I don't know, could be new adults. you kids and your newfangled genres and terms, like I don't know what constitutes a new adult book. This could be because the characters are like in college age, I don't know. This is a story about a character named Allison who has recently graduated from high school. She's taking a trip across all of Europe, but her stop to Paris was canceled because of a local boycott, so her group could not get into Paris, and she's very disappointed about that. On her last day in Europe before she has to go back home, she meets a guy named Willem, and he offers to take her to Paris. After she wakes up after spending all this time with Willem, she finds out that he's just gone. She has to go back to the States to start her college education, but she cannot get Willem out of her head. I think there are some things at the beginning which as a reader just were questionable to me, but by the end of the story, I thought it was an amazing narrative. I loved it so much that I filmed a review about it, and it should be up by the end of the week, so look out for that. But I gave the story 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it so much. Naturally, the book I read after that was Just One Year by Gail Forman, which is the second part of the duology. Basically, it follows the same sort of time frame as Just One Day, but it's told from Willem's point of view. I mean, I loved Just One Day, especially what I took away from Just One Day, which it was an amazing story. But like, Just One Year challenges everything that happened in Just One Day and just makes the audience rethink about everything that happened just through this new perspective, and all the themes and the messages that I loved so much in Just One Day were built upon. I don't think I need to say that I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. After I finished Just One Year, I was really scared because I started like 4 different books and none of them were clicking with me, none of them felt like the right book, and I felt like the mythical reading slump coming for me, and I was very scared. So there was a book that was calling to me, and it was that book's time, and that book is The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. Ezra Faulkner is like an ex-Golden Boy. He used to be one of the most popular kids in school and the king of the tennis team, but he was in a car accident that left him physically impaired and dependent upon a cane, so he can no longer play tennis or do any of those things that he used to love, and he finds himself estranged from his friends, who as I said are like the popular kids, but he finds himself reconnecting with some of his old friends who are like nerdier and weirder and just a band of misfits, and then his life completely changes. I was texting one of my very good friends after I finished this book, and I believe this is what I said. I said the beginning of everything has the poignancy and the beauty of a literary classic, but it also has the humor and the fun and the entertainment of a YA novel, and it just blends the two seamlessly to make this unforgettable coming of age story that just changed my life. It's just amazing, and it skyrocketed itself into the tie for my #1 book of all time because it was amazing. It was so well written, and it's just such an important book, so different from like so many things in the YA genre, and it's just another one that you cannot miss because it was so amazing. I don't think I have to say I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, but I will. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I finished my reread of The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I don't want to say too much about this book because I'm sure you've all heard about it. It is a YA historical fiction novel set in World War II Nazi Germany, narrated by Death, and it follows the story of Liesel as she goes to a new foster family. 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing reread. I don't even want to say anything else. And the last book I read in February is actually one that I'm still reading right now because I'm filming this on the 28th of February. It's like the middle of the day and I have less than 50 pages left, so it is gonna happen. And that is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. There are these 2 characters, Lilac and Tarver, and they are both aboard the spaceship Icarus, which if you know anything about Greek mythology, like, that's just bad news already. But abruptly, the Icarus is torn out of hyperspace, and as it goes crashing down, Lilac and Tarver find themselves together in this emergency escape pod, and they just barely get off of that ship with their lives. And as Lilac and Tarver discover that they have to depend on each other more and more if they want to get out of this planet alive, they start to sort of form a romantic bond, and it's just amazing. It's an amazing story. The beginning was a little bit wackadoodle, that's just my opinion, but I think once the conflict kicks in, everything that follows is amazing. The writing is so good, and I love the two characters. I think they are written so well. So as of right now, I would give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't think I'm going to be having a TBR for March. I'm just going to be going with my gut on what I want to read, but I will say that March will most likely be my triumphant return to SFF, Science Fiction and Fantasy. So I just want to thank you guys for your support again. Thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page. Bye.